It was just at that point in my life. I had been asked to write for many years, but this is my 30th year in show business.
At 80 years old, Diana Ross has finally addressed the rumours that have surrounded her for decades. Born in Detroit, Michigan in 1944, Ross rose to fame as the lead singer of the Supremes, one of the most successful acts in Motown history. Throughout her illustrious career, Ross has faced numerous challenges and controversies, including a lawsuit from her former bandmate Florence Ballard and struggles with anorexia. Now, as she reflects on her life, Ross is ready to share the truth behind the gossip and confirm what many have suspected for years. Before we delve into what she revealed, let's first take a journey through her remarkable career. Early life of Diana Ross. Diana Ross's early life was shaped by both challenges and opportunities, which contributed to her becoming the iconic singer we know today. Born on March 26, 1944, in Detroit, Michigan, Diana Ross was the second of 6 children in a close-knit family. Her parents, Ernestine and Fred Ross Sr., named her Diane, but a clerical error on her birth certificate resulted in her being officially named Diana, a name she would later embrace as her stage persona. Despite the mix-up, her family and friends continued to call her Diane throughout her life. Ross was raised in a Baptist household, growing up alongside her 2 sisters and 3 brothers. The family initially lived in the North End section of Detroit, near Highland Park, where one of her neighbours was the future Motown legend Smokey Robinson. At the age of 7, Diana faced a significant challenge when her mother, Ernestine, contracted tuberculosis, which left her severely ill. During her mother's illness, Diana and her siblings were sent to live with their maternal grandparents in Bessemer, Alabama. After Ernestine recovered, the children returned to Detroit. In 1958, on Diana's 14th birthday, her family moved to the Brewster Douglas Housing Projects, a working-class area on St. Antoine Street. Despite the hardships associated with living in the projects, Ross remained focused on her aspirations. She attended Cass Technical High School, a 4-year college preparatory magnet school in downtown Detroit, where she pursued her dream of becoming a fashion designer. At Cass Tech, Ross took classes in clothing design, millinery, pattern making, and tailoring. She also attended modeling and cosmetology classes, showcasing her multifaceted talents. Outside of her academic pursuits, she was active in extracurricular activities, including the school's swim team. To support herself and gain extra income, Ross took on a job at Hudson's downtown Detroit store in 1960, becoming its first African-American busgirl. She also provided hairdressing services to her neighbors, demonstrating her entrepreneurial spirit from a young age. In January 1962, Ross graduated from Cass Tech, prepared to embark on a path that would eventually lead her to fame. Despite her initial interest in fashion design, life had other plans for Diana Ross. The world of music soon opened up for her, setting her on the road to becoming one of the most celebrated singers of all time. The transition from fashion to music may seem unexpected, but as with many successful careers, it was a combination of talent, opportunity, and timing that led Ross to discover her true calling. Start of her musical career journey. Diana Ross's musical journey began at a young age, with her entry into the world of professional music coming at just 15 years old. She became a member of a group called the Primettes, which was the female counterpart to the Primes, a male vocal group. The opportunity to join the Primettes came through her connection with Paul Williams, a member of the Primes, who introduced Ross to music manager Milton Jenkins. The Primettes consisted of Ross, Florence Ballard, Mary Wilson, and Betty McGlown, who was Paul Williams's girlfriend at the time. In 1960, the group gained some initial recognition by winning a talent competition in Windsor, Ontario. This victory caught the attention of Robert Bateman, an A&R executive and songwriter at Motown Records. Encouraged by this success, Ross approached her former neighbour, Smokey Robinson, a prominent figure at Motown, to help them secure an audition with the label. Robinson, however, wanted to hear the group for himself first. After being impressed by their performance, he agreed to introduce them to Motown with one condition: that the group's guitarist Marv Tarplin would join the Miracles on an upcoming tour. This arrangement proved beneficial for all parties, as Tarplin went on to perform with the Miracles for over 30 years, while the Primettes were given a chance to audition for Motown. In her autobiography, Secrets of a Sparrow, Ross reflected on this exchange and considered it a fair deal. The Primettes' persistence eventually paid off when they were invited to audition for Motown executives. Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, recounted in his memoir, To Be Loved, how he first encountered Ross. While on his way to a business meeting, Gordy heard Ross singing There Goes My Baby, and her voice left a lasting impression on him. He asked the group to sing the song again, and despite their undeniable talent, Gordy advised them to finish high school before pursuing a full-time career in music. Undeterred by this advice, the group continued to visit Motown's Hitsville, USA headquarters daily, offering their help in any way they could. They provided handclaps and background vocals on various recordings, eager to prove their dedication and talent. During this time, the group recorded 2 songs for Lupine Records, with Ross taking the lead on one of them. As the Primettes began their journey, Diana Ross took on numerous roles within the group. She was not only the lead singer, but also acted as the hairstylist, makeup artist, seamstress, and costume designer, showcasing her versatility and commitment to the group's success. Towards the end of 1960, after Betty McGlown was replaced by Barbara Martin, the Primettes were finally given the opportunity to record their own music at the Hitsville studio. Smokey Robinson, who by then was serving as the vice president of Motown, wrote several songs for them, including Your Heart Belongs to Me and A Breathtaking Guy. These early years were crucial in shaping Diana Ross's career. The group, which would soon be renamed the Supremes, was on the cusp of making history. Despite the challenges they faced, including being advised to finish their education before pursuing music, Ross and her bandmates were determined to succeed. Their persistence and talent eventually led to them becoming one of the most successful and influential acts in Motown's history. Gordy also contributed songs for the group such as Buttered Popcorn with Ballad on lead vocals and Let Me Go the Right Way. Despite achieving success in some regions, these songs did not gain popularity nationwide. In January of 1961, Gordy agreed to sign the group under the condition that they changed their name. During a tour with Dick Clark's Cavalcade of Stars in June 1964, the group achieved their first #1 hit with Where Did Our Love Go?, marking the beginning of their unrivaled success. From August 1964 to May 1967, Ross, Wilson and Ballard contributed vocals to 10 #1 hit singles, all of which reached the UK Top 40. The group quickly gained popularity both at home and overseas, ultimately becoming Motown's most successful vocal act. Of the 60s, Ross took control of interactions with the press. Responding to inquiries meant for Ballard and Wilson, she advocated for higher compensation compared to her co-workers. In 1965, she adopted the name Diana due to an error on her birth certificate, which came as a surprise to Ballard and Wilson, who had always known her as Diane. As a result of pressure from Gordy, she developed an eating disorder, as detailed in her book Secrets of a Sparrow, while performing in Boston in 1967. Ross fainted on stage and needed medical attention for fatigue. However, to grow bigger, she decided to take a pivotal part of her life, thereby altering her career trajectory, going solo and venture into movies. Diana Ross's talent and versatility extend well beyond her remarkable singing career. She made a significant leap into acting with her film debut in Lady Sings the Blues, 1972, a movie inspired by the life of jazz legend Billie Holiday. Despite some criticism over her casting, Ross's portrayal was met with acclaim. Jazz critic Leonard Feather, a friend of Holiday, praised her performance, noting its authenticity and emotional depth. Ross's role earned her nominations for both a Golden Globe Award and an Academy Award for Best Actress. The film's soundtrack also achieved notable success, topping the Billboard 200 chart for 2 weeks and selling over 2 million copies. In addition to her acting achievements, Ross continued to make strides in music. In 1973, she scored her second #1 hit in the United States with Touch Me in the Morning, a soulful ballad that further cemented her place in the music industry. Later that year, Ross collaborated with fellow Motown artist Marvin Gaye on the album Diana and Marvin. The album received widespread acclaim and showcased the powerful chemistry between the two artists. Ross's influence extended beyond the music and film industries. During her 1973 tour, she made history in Japan as the first entertainer invited to a private meeting with Empress Nagako, wife of Emperor Hirohito. This landmark event underscored Ross's global impact and appeal. In April 1974, Ross achieved another historic milestone by becoming the first African-American woman to co-host the Academy Awards. Her role as co-host, alongside notable figures like John Huston, Burt Reynolds, and David Niven, highlighted her versatility and prominence in both entertainment and culture. Following the moderate success of her 1973 album Last Time I Saw Him, Diana Ross embarked on a new cinematic project with her second film, Mahogany, 1975. This film reunited her with Billy Dee Williams, who had also been her co-star in Lady Sings the Blues. Ross not only starred in the film, but also contributed her personal touch by designing some of the costumes. Mahogany tells the story of a young fashion designer who becomes a celebrated runway model. However, the production faced numerous challenges, including a change in directors. Tony Richardson was initially set to direct but was replaced by Barry Gordy, the founder of Motown Records. The transition brought about tensions between Ross and Gordy. During filming, their disagreements led to Ross leaving before the production was completed, resulting in Gordy using his secretary Edna Anderson as a stand-in. Despite these behind-the-scenes issues, Mahogany was a commercial success. However, it received mixed reviews, with Time magazine notably criticizing Gordy for not fully utilizing Ross's talent. Despite the film's critical reception, Ross enjoyed success with the film's theme song, "Do You Know Where You're Going To?" In 1979, Ross further solidified her place in the dance music scene with the release of The Boss, an album that featured the hit title track. Her appeal extended to television when she guest-hosted an episode of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson on July 16, 1979. The episode featured guests such as Linda Carter, George Carlin, and Muhammad Ali. Later that year, Ross also hosted an HBO special, Standing Room Only, which was filmed during her 1979 tour at Caesars Palace's Circus Maximus Theatre in Las Vegas. The special was memorable for its dramatic opening, where Ross made a grand entrance through a movie screen. Additionally, she performed the title track from The Boss at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City in November 1979. In 1980, Ross released her most successful album to date, Diana. Created with the help of Chic's guitarist Nile Rodgers and bassist Bernard Edwards, the album included hit singles like I'm Coming Out and Upside Down, the latter of which topped the charts in the US. Ross continued her success with a top 10 hit late in 1980 with the theme song for the film, It's My Turn. She also recorded a duet ballad, Endless Love, with Lionel Richie, which became her sixth and final single to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 1976, Diana Ross and Mary Wilson reunited to pay their respects at the funeral of Florence Ballard, who had tragically passed away earlier that year. This was a poignant moment that highlighted the enduring connections and respect between the former members of the Supremes, despite the challenges they had faced over the years. Moving forward to March 1983, Ross, Wilson, and Cindy Birdsong came together once again for a notable appearance on the TV special Motown 25. Yesterday, Today, Forever. This special was a significant event celebrating the legacy of Motown Records. However, due to tight time constraints, the Supremes were unable to rehearse their performance as planned. This led to the cancellation of a medley of their hit songs that had been originally intended. In the absence of practice, the Supremes faced challenges during their performance. Wilson, as detailed in her autobiography, took the initiative to coordinate with Birdsong to mirror Ross's movements. Wilson gradually assumed the lead vocals for the group's ultimate chart-topping single, Someday We'll Be Together, despite not being originally designated to sing it. Additionally, Wilson brought Barry Gordy onto the stage without realizing that this task was scripted for Ross. Ross discreetly stepped in to manage the situation subtly moving Wilson's microphone and reassuring Gordy that everything was under control. Although these backstage dynamics were not visible in the final edited version of the special, they were covered in the media. Reports suggested that Ross had made efforts to redirect attention away from Wilson. The situation was reported in People magazine, which highlighted the behind-the-scenes tensions and Ross's attempts to manage the spotlight. In 1999, Ross engaged in discussions with the major tour promoter SFX Entertainment, which later evolved into Live Nation, about a potential Diana Ross tour. The tour was to include a segment dedicated to the Supremes. However, during the negotiation process, the focus shifted from a Diana Ross-centric tour to a tour specifically featuring the Supremes. Ross agreed to this change and, as a co-producer of the tour, extended invitations to all surviving former members of the Supremes to join in. This tour was a testament to Ross's commitment to celebrating the legacy of the Supremes and her enduring influence on the Motown era. Unfortunately, Jean Teruel and Sue Screen, who had been part of the group in the late 1970s, opted not to participate. Meanwhile, Linda Lawrence and Sherry Payne, who had been part of the Supremes in the 70s, were already touring as the former ladies of the Supremes. Ross reached out to Mary Wilson and Cindy Birdsong, leading to discussions with SFX. Talks with Wilson and Birdsong fell through when Wilson rejected the $4 million offer from SFX and Ross for 30 shows, after SFX's deadline passed for Wilson to agree to the offer. Payne and Lawrence, who were in talks with SFX, agreed to join Ross on the tour. Lawrence and Pay later mentioned that they had a good rapport with Ross. The newly created band appeared on Today, The Oprah Winfrey Show, and VH1 One Diva's 2000 tribute to Diana Ross. The Return to Love tour kicked off in June 2000 in front of a full house in Philadelphia. The tour concluded with a show at Madison Square Garden in New York City. SAVX cancelled the tour soon after, citing lackluster ticket sales despite positive feedback from Billboard magazine, the Detroit Free Press, the Los Angeles Times, and the Village Voice. On December 5, 2000, Ross was honoured with a Heroes Award by the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences NARIS. This award is considered the most prestigious recognition given by the New York chapter. Following her appearance at a fundraiser for former President Bill Clinton, Diana Ross made her first public appearance after retiring from her previous TV show. In January 2001, her album Love and Life. The Very Best of Diana Ross was released in the United Kingdom and became her 17th album to achieve gold status in the country. This compilation celebrated Ross's extensive and successful career, reaffirming her status as an enduring music icon. In June 2001, Ross had the honor of presenting costume designer Bob Mackie with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the American Fashion Awards. This recognition highlighted Ross's continued influence and contributions to both the music and fashion industries. Later career, May 2004, Ross and her daughter, Tracy Ellis Ross, appeared on the cover of Essence magazine to celebrate the magazine's 50th anniversary. This cover marked a significant moment for the Ross family, showcasing their bond and shared accomplishments. December 8, 2004. Ross performed as the main act at the Billboard Music Awards Century Award tribute, honoring Stevie Wonder. This performance was part of a tribute celebrating Wonder's remarkable contributions to music. January 14, 2005, Ross participated in the Tsunami Aid, a Concert of Hope TV concert which aimed to raise funds for victims of the devastating tsunami caused by the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake. This event showcased Ross's continued commitment to humanitarian efforts. January 20, 2005, Ross unveiled her MAC Icon makeup line, part of the Icon series by the beauty company. This collaboration highlighted Ross's ongoing influence in the fashion and beauty sectors. 2005 Music Collaborations. Rod Stewart. Ross collaborated with Rod Stewart on his album Thanks for the Memory. The Great American Songbook Volume 4, recording a duet of the Gershwin classic I've Got a Crush on You. This duet, released as a teaser for the album, reached the 19th position on the Billboard Hot Adult Contemporary chart, marking her first appearance on the Billboard charts since 2000. Westlife. Ross teamed up with Westlife for a duet of her 1991 hit, When You Tell Me That You Love Me. The cover achieved significant success, reaching number 2 on the UK singles chart and number 1 in Ireland. These events underscore Diana Ross's continued relevance and impact in the music industry, as well as her versatility and ability to adapt to new trends and collaborations. In addition, in 2005, Ross was invited as a special guest at Oprah Winfrey's Legends Ball Weekend, a 3-day event recognizing 25 Africana-American women in the fields of art, entertainment, and civil rights. A year later, on May 22nd, ND 2006, a program highlighting the weekend was broadcast on ABC, featuring interviews with celebrities and exclusive behind-the-scenes footage. Ross's Central Park concerts, titled For One and For All, were recognized as the viewer choice for television's greatest music moment at the TV Land Awards on March 22nd, ND 2006. Universal debuted Ross's previously unreleased 1972 Blue album in June 2006. It reached the 2nd spot on Billboard's Top Jazz Albums chart. Following this, Ross made a comeback with her first studio album in 7 years, titled I Love You, which was released in January 2007 on EMI Manhattan Records. The album peaked at number 32 on Billboard's Hot 200 Albums chart and number 16 on the Top R&Albums chart. Ross embarked on a global tour to support the release of I Love You in 2007. She received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards and was also honored at the Kennedy Center Honors. Ross was recognized by the Recording Academy on February 10, 2019 during the 61st Annual Grammy Awards. At the event, she sang The Best Years of My Life and Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. Eric Carper remixed her song The Boss in 2019, titling it The Boss 2019. And it topped Billboard's Top Dance chart on April 13th. Ross was scheduled to perform at the Glastonbury Festival's 50th anniversary in 2019, but the event was postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, she later confirmed her performance at the 2022 festival. In May 2020, Ross unveiled Supertonic Mixes, a compilation of 9 remixes of her popular songs by Eric Cooper, including her 4 consecutive number 1 hits on the Billboard Dance Club Songs chart, Ain't No Mountain High Enough 2017, I'm Coming Out Upside Down 2018, The Boss 2019, and Love Hangover 2020. Despite her successful career, her personal life wasn't full of glitz and glamour. Personal life. Marriages and children. Diana Ross has been married twice and has 5 children. Her first significant relationship was with Barry Gordy, the CEO of Motown, beginning in 1965. This relationship resulted in the birth of Ross's oldest child, Rhonda Suzanne Silverstein, in August 1971. Ross married music executive Robert Ellis Silverstein in January 1971, 2 months into her pregnancy with Rhonda. Despite knowing Rhonda was not his biological daughter, Silverstein raised her as his own. When Rhonda turned 13, Ross revealed that Gordy was her biological father. Rhonda had previously referred to Gordy as Uncle BB. Ross and Silverstein had 2 daughters together, Tracy Joy Silverstein, Tracy Ellis Ross, born in 1972, and Chutney Lane Silverstein, born in 1975. The couple divorced in 1977. Affairs and relationships. Smokey Robinson. In 2023, Smokey Robinson revealed in an interview that he had an affair with Ross while still married to his first wife, Claudette. Robinson mentioned that Ross ended the affair after he expressed his feelings for Claudette, who was a friend of Ross. Ross's spokesperson declined to comment on Robinson's revelation. Gene Simmons. Ross had a romantic relationship with Gene Simmons of Kiss between 1980 and 1983. Their relationship began after a suggestion from Cher, who was friends with Simmons. Simmons claimed in his autobiography that he was not dating Cher at the time he started seeing Ross, but Ross ended their relationship when she mistakenly believed he had reunited with Cher. In 2015, Simmons admitted he was still dating Cher while falling in love with Ross, which led to the end of Ross and Cher's friendship. second marriage. In 1985, Ross married Arne Næss Jr., a prominent Norwegian shipping magnate. They had two sons together, Ross Arne, born in 1987, and Even Olav, born in 1988. Næss Jr. had three older children from a previous marriage, Katinka, Christopher, and musician Leona Næss. The couple's marriage ended in 2000 after reports revealed that Næss had a child with another woman. Despite their separation, Ross considered Næss to be the love of her life. Tragically, Næss Jr. passed away in a mountain climbing accident in South Africa in 2004. Family and grandchildren. Ross maintains a close relationship with her three former stepchildren and has 7 grandchildren. Her daughter Rhonda has 3 children, Ralphie Hynek, born 2009, and grandsons Leif, born 2016, and Indigo, born 2017. Tracy Ellis Ross has 2 daughters, Callaway Lane, born 2012, and Everly, born October 2019. Her son Evan has a daughter named Jagger Snow, born 2015, and a son named Ziggy, born 2020. Diana Ross's role as a mother. Despite her demanding career, Diana Ross was a hands-on mother. Tracy Ellis Ross, in interviews, has praised her mother for her dedication and work ethic. In a 2017 interview with Good Housekeeping, Tracy highlighted Diana's commitment to balancing her career and family life. She described her mother as always making time for her children, never brushing them off despite her busy schedule. Tracy, who is now 51 years old, acknowledges the strong influence Diana's values and presence have had on her own life. Shared with Flaunt magazine that although Diana, who is 79 years old, was not someone who partied frequently with celebrities, their family did come into contact with Hollywood's elite. In an interview from December 2023, Tracy mentioned, "I mean, we had Michael Jackson around. Marvin Gaye would often call the house Chase My Father. My mother and Michael would play doubles tennis together. Andy Warhol even took my photograph. It was all just a regular part of my life, but my mother always made sure to create a sense of normalcy in our home." In the 1960s and 70s, Diana was a well-known lead singer of the Supremes, a Motown group. When she had Tracy with Robert Ellis Silverstein in 1972, Diana's career was already established. Despite being globally famous, Diana made sure to be home as much as possible for Tracy to have a normal childhood. Tracy mentioned in an interview with Flaunt that while her mum led a public life, she was a very private and home-oriented person. To Tracy, Diana was always a mom first and then Diana Ross. She emphasized that her childhood was centered around a regular family life, with her mom being present and waking her up for school. The actress mentioned that she didn't stand out as a crazy person in school because of her mother's fame. She explained that despite some unique aspects, her mother made sure they had a normal routine. For example, her mother woke them up for school every morning and they would have dinner together. Her mother also recorded them when they were asleep at night and never left for more than a week. Diana has a daughter named Rhonda, aged 52, with the well-known Motown producer Barry Gordy. After that, she married Silverstein, and together they had 2 more daughters. Tracy and Chutney, aged 48. The marriage ended in divorce in 1977. Diana then tied the knot with Arne Næss Jr., and they have 2 sons named Ross, a 36, and Evan, aged 35. Unfortunately, the relationship ended in divorce in 2000. Tracy has talked about her strong bond with her mother before the 2016 Emmys, where she was a nominee for Blackish. She mentioned to People magazine that she never felt like she was living in her mother's shadow. She felt like she was being embraced by her mother. Finding her path as an individual was important to her, although she didn't have to make a conscious effort to do so. Diana's impeccable fashion sense, ranging from form-fitting bodysuits to luxurious fur-trimmed coats, ensures she always looks stunning whenever she steps onto the red carpet. Understandably, her children would want to take advantage of their stylish mom's wardrobe from a young age. Her second oldest child. Tracy especially enjoyed borrowing clothes from her mother, even if she did so without permission. In an interview with W magazine in 2017, the Blackish actress confessed, "It was kind of like stealing. Honestly, she would leave the house, and I would take the opportunity to sneak into her room, peek out the window to watch her car leave, then head straight to her bathroom to grab some clothes. Tracy continued saying, "I like to keep them in my closet and pretend they're mine." Not only was she a loving mother, she has left behind an enduring legacy. Legacy. Ross has had a significant impact on numerous musicians such as Michael Jackson, Beyoncé, Madonna, Jade, Thurwa, Questlove, Ledisi and the Ting Tingings. Many artists have covered and sampled Ross's songs, with Ain't No Mountain High Enough appearing in the movie Chicken Little. Jennifer Lopez and Amy Winehouse have also performed their versions of the song live and on their albums. Ross, known for her role as the lead vocalist of the Supremes and her successful career as a solo artist, has achieved a remarkable 18 #1 singles in total. Out of these, 12 were achieved during her time as the lead singer of the Supremes. While Diana Ross earned 6 #1 singles as a solo artist, she also achieved the same distinction as a member of the Supremes. Notably, Ross is the only female artist to have topped the charts both as part of a group and on her own. In 1976, Billboard magazine honored Ross as the most influential female performer of the century. She is also distinguished by having 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for her solo career and another for her work with the Supremes. Following her iconic 1983 performance in Central Park, a playground was dedicated to Diana Ross in tribute, with a special unveiling event in 1986. Barry Gordy initially requested Ross to introduce the Jackson 5 to the public, which led to the misconception that she discovered the group. Although this misunderstanding was later used as a marketing strategy for Motown, it benefited their business. On January 24, 1985, Kaufman Astoria Studios in Astoria, Queens, dedicated Studio 4 in Ross's honor, recognizing her pivotal role in revitalizing the studio after it faced potential demolition due to her involvement in The Wiz. In 2006, Ross was among 25 African-American women honored at Oprah Winfrey's Legends Ball for their contributions to art, entertainment, and civil rights. Ross has been celebrated as one of the 5 mighty pop divas of the 60s, alongside Dusty Springfield, Aretha Franklin, Martha Reeves, and Dionne Warwick. In 2023, Rolling Stone placed Ross at number 87 on its list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and also click on the next video shown on your screen.